Hey guys, Bios and Ramos, and today the Miami Dolphins played against the New York Jets down here in Miami and ended up winning 18-26. Miami Dolphins finally got a home win. Not even a home win, a win. They're 1-7 now. So, yeah.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
So as you guys can tell, my voice is pretty hoarse. Was at the game. It was pretty interesting. In all honesty, I was just waiting to the final second till it was official that the Miami Dolphins had finally got a win this year, this season. But nonetheless, let's go over some stats. So Sam Darnold went 27 for 39, 260 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks for a loss of 22 yards. And then his counterpart on the Miami side, Ryan Fitzpatrick, went 24 for 36, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. That's great. 4 sacks for a loss of 22 yards. Same losses of yards, more sacks. So, I mean, in the sense, it was a little bit better. Like, he didn't lose so many yards when he was getting sacked compared to Sam Darnold. Next, we go to rushing for the Jets. We have Le'Veon Bell rushing for 17 times for 66 yards. Then we have Bilal Powell, 2 rushes, 16 yards. Sam Darnold, 2 rushes, 1 yard. We go to Miami's rushing. We have him going for 12 carries for 29 yards. And Kalen Ballage is following after with 7 carries for 19 yards. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, 5 carries for 2 yards. So overall, we had 50 yards rushing. But it didn't matter because Fitzpatrick put the team on his back and was throwing like a madman. So speaking of receiving, we have the New York Jets receiving. Jamison Crowder had 8 receptions for 83 yards and 1 touch on the man. This guy Jamison Crowder was balling. He was just catching anything that was thrown to him. Gotta give him some props. Le'Veon Bell, 8 receptions, 55 yards. Ryan Griffin, 6 receptions, 50 yards. Robbie Anderson, 2 receptions, 33 yards. Vincent Smith, 1 reception, 20 yards. And Demaryius Thomas, 2 receptions, 19 yards. Okay, there was a play where the Jets tight end caught it for a touchdown, and then they finally reviewed it. And honestly, the whole time when they were trying to review, I'm like, why are you guys reviewing it? Like, that's a touchdown. And then, so he got like the steps, but then the ball hit the ground and it popped out. And then, so they're saying that's why it was ruled incomplete. But it was give or take, honestly. So anyways, now we go to Miami Dolphins receiving. We have Mike Gesicki leading the Miami Dolphins this week with receptions. 6 receptions, 95 yards, and he didn't drop a pass. His longest was 34 yards. I mean, he was doing pretty good today. He was catching pretty much anything. Pretty much he did catch everything going his way. Preston Williams, 5 receptions for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. He left the game for a second. He injured his hand, but he came back out and still did well. Devontae Parker, 4 receptions, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Then we go to Jakeem Grant, 3 receptions, 33 yards. Allen Hurts, 2 receptions, 16. Mark Walton, 3 receptions, 12. Albert Wilson, 1 reception, 3 yards. And then Kalen Ballage was targeted once and did not catch a ball. So when we go to fumbles, we have Jonathan Harrison, which I believe is their center. Okay, so we got a safety in the game. We got that safety off of what was a mishandled snap, in the sense of they hiked it to Darnold and it kind of like just went right past him, and then he tried going for it and he whiffed, and then he just stood there after. Super Jets thing, like he just sat there on his behind, just letting the ball go into the end zone, where they could have recovered it for a touchdown, but then it got batted away a little bit and then it went out and it was a safety. Jonathan Harrison, the center, fumbled the ball basically, even though he was just snapping it. Defensively for the Jets, their leading tackler was Brandon Copeland. And he also had 1 sack, 2 hits, tackles for a loss, 1 QB hit. Let's see. Darryl Roberts had 2 pass deflections. Terrell Bassam. Let's see. Did Jamal Adams do anything? Jamal Adams 4 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss, 1 QB hit. Nick Needham was the leading tackler for the Dolphins. Number 40, the cornerback. He had 9 total tackles, 6 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 QB hit. Jamal Wiltz had a pass deflection and an interception. Yes, we finally got some picks. Jamal Wiltz also had 9 total tackles, 6 solo. What else? Let's see. Raekwon got a QB hit. Jerome Baker got a pass deflection. Christian Wilkins got his first sack of his NFL career. Also had 2 tackles for a loss. Devon Gottschall got a sack as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Interception, Jamal Wiltz, he caught it literally on the 1-yard line. And then after they were playing the Ghostbusters theme music to Sam Darnold's I'm Seeing Ghosts statement. And no one's going to let that off from him ever. So then we go to the Jets kick returns. And we have Vincent Smith, 1 return for 78 yards. He almost took it back all the way for a touchdown. And then also Braxton Berrios had 1 for 25 yards. Now when you that led him to such a whole big debacle going into halftime. That kick return that he did honestly was just a big old mess. And then when we go to kick returns from Miami, it was 3 returns for Jakeem Grant for 36 yards. And then Durham Smythe even returned 1 for 14 yards. Now let's go to punt returns. The Jets had no punt returns, even though we punted the ball a couple times. There was no punt returns for them. Then the Dolphins had 2 punt returns. Preston Williams fielded them both. He had 2 punt returns for 19 yards. And his longest was 10 yards. New York kicking Sam Ficken went 3 for 4 on field goals. And he went 1 for 1 on extra points. Meanwhile, Jason Sanders went 1 for 2 on field goals. And he also went 3 for 3 on extra points. So it was perfect on the extra point. Just missed 1 field goal, which is fine in the sense when you get the win, it doesn't really matter if you miss one or not. New York punting Lachlan Edwards. He went 4 punts for 176 yards. 2 of them in the 20. And 1 of them was in the 20. And he had 48 was his longest. And then when you get to the Dolphins, Matt Hack went 4 for 166 yards. 3 of them were in the 20, and his longest was 57 yards. I mean, Matt Hack was on his game. It was a pretty interesting situation down there in the stadium. It was very overcast, very shadowed, just cloudy day. Kind of cool. It rained for a bit. So that being said, it was not the best for the. I don't know what I was trying to go with. Oh, it was pretty windy as well. I forgot about that. So at the standings now, I mentioned this in the preview video that if the Dolphins win, it's kind of a situation you don't want to be in, because if you win, you take the lead over the Jets. Because we will have the same record as them, which we do now. We're both 1-7, but the AFC East standings right now are Patriots 8-0, Buffalo 6-2, Miami 1-7, New York 1-7. You see, we got the win on them and we're above them. So it's a little frustrating. So hopefully somebody will allow us to win a game or 2, because they're not that far off from us, and I think they're even worse, to be honest. So then, on honesty, that was pretty much all the stats. The final score was once again 18-26, Miami Dolphins winning the game by 9 points. 8 points. So it was very good to see that. A couple of days ago, I was like, oh, people were telling me, oh, shave the beard, cut the hair, whatnot. I was like, I'm not cutting anything. I'm not cutting anything until the Dolphins win. And then literally the week after I said that, they win. I should have been saying that from the beginning, if that's the case. But yeah, pretty much, Dolphins had a pretty good game all around. Their defense balled out. Let's see. There was 17 first downs to the Miami Dolphins, 22 for the Jets. So Jets had 17, Miami had 22 first downs. Total plays, Dolphins had 64, Jets had 63. Jets had more yards, but I mean that garbage time drive does not count towards what I saw out there in the field. Yards, third down efficiency, Jets were through 5 for 14. Meanwhile, the Dolphins were 6 of 12. Jets, though, they were 4 for 4 on fourth down. Dolphins didn't go for it on fourth down anytime. Either just went for a field goal or just punted it. That being said, the Dolphins' defense played pretty well. Even though you see there's 2 4 for 4s on fourth down. 2 for 2 on fourth down. Time of possession, Miami Dolphins held it over just by a little bit. 31 minutes, 14 seconds to the Jets, 28 to 46. Let's see. Penalties. Jets were penalized 10 times for 105 yards. Meanwhile, the Dolphins were penalized 6 times for 51 yards. Dolphins, I've been saying this as of late, Dolphins have not been getting penalized a lot for these games. And that is really good for the future of what the Dolphins are going to be doing. Red zone, Jets are 1 of 3, Dolphins are 3 of 4. So we scored 3 times while we were in the red zone, which is really, really good for the Dolphins. They've been progressing. Honestly, we might even, not to get too high on this, but the Dolphins might get on a little roll. You never know. Let's see. That's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought of the game. I was pretty happy, and but for the most part during the game, I was just like, how are they gonna mess this up? What's gonna happen? For this game to go completely on its head. But that did not end up happening, which is it's not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. Hopefully, the Dolphins gonna continue to get some wins, and that will put us in the right place, going towards the future. But at the same time, we might need to lose some just so we get a better pick. But you never know. Let's see where the team starts to go. We can go totally up or totally down. Like, there's no medium. I want really good or really bad. That's pretty much it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a nice thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the post notification bell option. And if you haven't done it yet, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @ByAustinRamos. And don't forget to check out byaustinramos.com. And lastly, fins up, baby. First win of the season. Fins up.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.